Hope you like bandanas because they're here to stay. Welcome to day 4 of 13 Days of Halloween. Wow. Wow. We are discussing my little animation I made for 13 Days of Halloween. And I am very excited to give you the behind the scenes sneak peek look of how I made it. I personally love behind the scenes things. If you give me behind the scenes of how someone made a movie or an animated show or animated whatever, I will freaking watch the living daylights out of it. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing how I made my little animation today. Now, I am not an expert. This is the first animation I've ever made. I've made small animations at Disneyland because in Disneyland California Adventure, if you didn't know, they have like a little animation studio department and you can kind of make animated things there. So I only have some experience there. And then I watched a YouTuber, his name is Aaron Blaze. Tend to recommend him if you have not watched his TikTok or YouTube before. He used to work at Disney Animated Studios back in the Renaissance period of Disney. So he worked on movies like The Lion King, and he was, I think, the director, like the main head guy for Brother Bear. Sorry for background cat noise. Olaf is crying because that's what he does all the time.
Life is hard.
Aaron Blaze, yes. He has helped me on this journey of how to make this animation because he often live streams how he's making his animations, because right now he's working on I don't know if it's a short film or if it's like a full-length film called Snow Bear, and I've been loving every second of seeing how he makes it. So if you want to see him also on his journey of making an animated film, go watch him on TikTok or YouTube. Like I said, hello, Ari, and no, please stay for this video. Here is the breakdown of how I made my animated short. So first I did a storyboard, because that's what I you should do for them, and I was like, alright, I'll make a storyboard. Then I made my background, and then I made a rough draft of my animation of my ghosty. By the way, his name's Ambrose, in case you're wondering what his lovely name is. And then I went and solidified all the lines with my black outline, and then I colored in all the frames. And then now we're going to compile it all together here right now at the end of this video. But that's the breakdown of how I made my little short. First, our storyboard. So I wanted to make sure I had a good flow of how he would move throughout the space. So I kind of like laid out how I wanted it to look for the backgrounds. That way he would have some space to move in. And then I went in and decided to make my storyboard. So first frame is he has been sleeping all winter, spring, and summer, and he's ready to just stretch his little ghostly limbs. Then, second frame is he spots the most beautiful leaf just before his eyes, and he needs it. He needs this leaf. So he reaches for it, stretches for it, and then third frame, he realizes he can't get it because his tail is caught in his tombstone. So he tries to like yank himself out of his tombstone. He can't do it, and eventually he does, but because he wasn't prepared for the inertia of him, starts tumbling, frame 5, and then frame 6 as he lands in a pile of leaves that are conveniently near his tombstone. So Ambrose probably enjoyed the fact he landed in a bunch of leaves. However, that's where our scene ends. So that's the storyboard broken down for y'all. So, I see in Disney movies a lot. 1, they like frame, so that way your eyes go to the characters. 2, they make a background, middle ground, and foreground, so that way you have dimension. So that way if you pan into things, you have something you can look at as it goes by. So I made sure to do that with my animation, or not my animation, my background. So I made layers, so that way I could, use them to my own whim if I needed to put a tree in the foreground and move it to like help set up the scene. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I wanted to make sure that happened. Also, I'm throwing a line because Olaf wants to play fetch right now. So I kind of sketched it out real quick. I used the drawing app Metabang in case you want to know what the little symbol was in the corner. So if you need a free software drawing app for your iPad, I'd recommend it. It works pretty well. Sometimes it's a little clunky and gets a little slow, but considering I put like 300 frames into one file. I think it's doing pretty good. I used particularly Winnie the Pooh as my animation style for my background because I freaking love Winnie the Pooh. So I'm just not a scary, spooky person when it comes to drawing. I want things to give you more cutesy, fun vibes. So I, instead of going over the garden wall-esque for my background, because I thought about maybe going that route, that's a little bit out of my realm for drawing, and I thought since my ghosts are typically very spoopy, cutesy, it would fit better in a Winnie the Pooh style background. So that's what I used for my inspiration. And after I sketched it out, I was kind of debating whether or not I should actually put this into real watercolors, like on paper, or if it would work on my iPad as it did. And I figured, well, I'm gonna do my iPad just because I'm lazy and it means I can just sit here on my couch on my iPad and draw away and watch something. If it comes to worst, I would just have that be my mock-up, and then I would do the thing on watercolor paper and watercolors. And I actually really liked how it turned out on my iPad, so I didn't have to worry about that. I started piece by piece making my Ambrose the ghost. So I started off with some sketches. I just used red and blue, so see that kind of alternating on my small recording I made of how I sketched it all out. I just used my storyboard for reference of how I wanted him to move throughout the space. Saw like how he would work and how physics kind of works with his body, because I wanted to make sure that when he was going to reach for his tail, he was squishing in, like he was leaning in, and then he was leaning back out when he was trying to pull, so that way like the physics was there. I wanted to give him like floaty vibes, but then also some semblance of the fact that he has to try. I didn't do every frame with the sketch. I kind of just did a little rough draft of everything. So I think I did 40 sketches that were of the rough draft, and then of the final thing, I think there's 90. So I did about a little more than double for the actual outline of the ghost, is to make sure that his movements were smooth. That part took me a very long time. I think, so I stayed up all night doing this last night. It took me from I think 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. to get all the little outline of him done, and then I ended up coloring him in as well. But luckily coloring him in didn't take that long. He's just a white ghost. There's not much to him. So luckily that was pretty easy. So I went in frame by frame. I didn't record much of this either because it literally was me flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between layers to make sure that it looks smooth. And it doesn't really show up very well on the screen recording, I felt like, so I didn't do that much of it. But hopefully you get a little idea with the little excerpt that I did film. If you really want a nice flip action of like how the paper moves and you can see how characters move, Aaron Blaze, man, that's where you gotta go. We didn't show much of that. But hopefully you got a little tasty taste of what it was like. It is me doing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until my ghost fell into his little leaf pile. In order to color him in, I just made him all white, and then I turned down the opacity from 100% to 80%, so that way you could see through him a little bit, which I feel like gives him more of a ghostly vibe, but then he is still dense enough to where you're not distracted by seeing through him completely. So hopefully you also kind of enjoy that little touch of making him semi-see-through, but not too see-through. Now I'm going to show you guys on my iPad what it looks like, because I figured out today via my partner that if you hold down the right arrow, because I'm silly sometimes, you can see it flip through really quickly through the pictures, and it actually works well enough to see how my animation looks before I import it into my computer, because I'm gonna go do that after I show you what it looks like, just so you guys can see the different layers that I have going on my iPad, and how it's kind of cool seeing how everything just like it gets layered together, because I think that's probably how they do it with Disney.
Yes, I need to talk to an expert.
The last step is editing, so I took everything from my iPad and transferred it onto my MacBook, and I'm editing everything in Final Cut Pro. I don't have any editing software that's made for animation, so I feel like this is helpful for any of you guys who just have editing software at home and an iPad. You could easily do this yourself. I had 3 animation layers. 1 was the leaves on the tree, 2 was the pile leaves on the ground, and the 3rd was Ambrose or Ghost. The main one I had to worry about was Ambrose, so it was a lot of me clipping them, going back, watching the footage back, seeing how the movement was, and then me adjusting, and if I liked it, then I kept going until finally we got to the end of our clip, and editing is done. Yay! I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I made my little animation, a little behind the scenes action of how I did it. Let me know how you guys thought I did with my little Ambrose, the ghost, who loves leaves oh so much. Let me know if you had a favorite part of the animation, if you have any questions about the animation or about, I don't know, anything you can think of. I'm happy to answer whatever you have. Not that I'm an expert, but I will do my best to, you know, help you out if you need anything from me. What else do I have to say? My hair looks like a Disney princess, so that was the vibe today. And tomorrow, day 5. So what are we doing tomorrow, you might be asking? Well, we are doing a nice little Halloween mug collection video. I haven't done one in a couple years, and I thought it'd be nice to update you guys on what Halloween mugs I've found. And this was a more like just cozy day we're spending together. So hope you guys will have a great night. Hope you guys are having a great October so far. Thanks again for joining me on 13 Days of Halloween, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.